Yeah, I know you're not terribly far from me, but I think this whole weekend's supposed to be like a washout, so that
Yeah,
sucks.
it's been pretty ass.
Yeah, but we've got a good crowd, so I think I'll jump into it. We'll kind of chat through things, and I highly would suggest if anyone has any questions, comments, whatever you want to talk about afterward, feel free to request to speak. But I'll go ahead and kick us off. So first off, I want to give a quick shout out to those of you from YouTube. So we do post these on YouTube. If you are brand new to the channel, if you don't mind liking and subscribing, certainly do appreciate it. Helps kind of build out our brand awareness and such on the YouTube space. But yes, we are hosting our weekly DAO voice chats primarily so far for both Twitter. I do kind of record them and send them off on the Twitter as well as YouTube. But we just give some updates as far as the project goes, what we've been working on over the past week or so, and kind of a little bit of what's coming up. And just welcome folks to kind of give give answers, ask questions, which we'll answer, and just chat about things that are going on in the space. I think one of the hot topics tonight might be talking a little bit more about the heck's going on with the price action on Solana recently. It's been absolutely awful, and probably some recent wins on projects, especially with our ongoing auction right now, which we'll mention that as well. So we'll kind of jump right into it. I guess for starters, as like a general announcement, just with the Solana network being as fickle as it has been over the past, I don't know, month or so, maybe even longer than that. I don't know. The days go by so quickly. But just for folks, when we're going to have more missions going out tomorrow. When the missions are completed in that 6-day period after you finish your mission, just be sure to kind of check on the health of the Solana network prior to redeeming your chests. We've had over the past technically 3 weeks just so many issues with folks redeeming chests, and it's just from the network side. The way we have it structured for the chests is so that people can't like do an infinite money glitch. So it's going to burn the chest before you get your reward 100% of the time. Like that's just how it's going to work. And in some cases, it doesn't kick you back a reward. And if that's the case, we do have a section for you to post issues that you're having. It's actually a thread that's located under our Fox chat. So if you check the threads that are located there, we'll be able to get someone will be able to help you out. Most likely either Requiem, myself, Dev, depending on who's on. So huge shout out to Requiem for for helping out with chests. I know that it's been an absolute nightmare the last 2 weeks for assisting based on the number of chests I've had to send over to him. So huge help, and I certainly certainly gave him a little extra kickback for helping with them because I know it can be a brutal brutal thing to help out with. So definitely appreciate that help. As far as missions go, since we're on a missions roll, we are doing our first collab mission with DGods. So I know some folks in the community have asked for it. Some folks in their community have asked for it. We were able to kind of come up with an understanding / agreement within the DGod side for anyone that is interested in staking, their DGod into our missions. We will also still honor the dust generation that DGods or dead gods would get. So Dev put it in the announcements, but for DGods, it's 10 dust per day, so you'll end up getting 60 dusts if you have a DGod that gets staked with a fox in that mission. Dead gods will also count in that mission, but they will get the 180. It's a 3x multiplier for that 6-day duration, and you can't unstake early. It's stuck in that 6-day contract, so once it's up, then you'll get the dust. We haven't determined yet if it'll be on the redemption side or if it'll be sent out like midway through or closer to the end of the actual mission. But it's just worth mentioning that you will still get your dust for anyone that is staking into that DGod collab mission. So want to put that out there. We just want to make sure that no one was missed for it. And I might as well jump down into what the announcements are for the missions. and then I'll go back up. So we have a t-shirt of any kind or shirt of any kind for mission. We'll have a headband, any kind of headband. We'll have a cap, hat, shirt, t-shirt, and a dead god. So realistically, a majority of our NFTs and a D god. So you don't necessarily have to go out and probably buy a different kind of fox if you already have one and a D god for that collab mission. Then we have another a duo, which is a Viking and a den. So again, you can use the Viking den as how it's going to be set up, or if you have a den that has a score over 200 with a Viking interior room. And the caveat for that is making sure you have that den locked in place prior to when the missions launch, because Dev does a snapshot and all those dens that have the requirement before them will be eligible for that mission. So I want to throw that out there. That's important, really, for any time we do missions. For the ones that are coming up, just make sure you get that interior room locked to that den prior to missions launching. Then we have another duo, which are two school shirts, and we have our trio as hats. So the bowler, bucket, and Viking all count towards that. So you have to have 3 foxes for that mission. And starting this week as well, missions will be wallet locked, and they won't use an escrow. So it'll be the freeze authority that we've traditionally set up for our staking 1.0 as well. So just a heads up for folks that have your Fox staked into a mission. You'll still see it in your wallet. You can't sell it. In the meantime, you will get issues for it. You'll get an error. I shouldn't say issues. So just as like a general heads up for folks that are going to ask us, why they are having issues trying to send their Fox or sell their Fox or anything along those lines, it's most likely because it's staked into a mission and it just shows up in your wallet still. Jumping into our Foxy Auctions. So our Foxy Auctions are currently underway. I am genuinely surprised as to where the pricing is for most of them. Last I had looked, and actually, let me see if I can pull this up again. Yeah. Last I had looked, it was the Nuked Ape, which was the highest Foxy bid. It was 101,000 Foxy. There were about 15, 16 hours left on it. So let me pull it back up. Just loading. I was surprised that it was almost double what the OK Bears is. OK Bears, yeah, OK Bears right now is 65,000 Foxy. Yeah, Nuke Ape's 101,000. Then we have Bohemia at 41,000. Then Grim Syndicate at 10,000, and the Gecko at 6,000 Foxy. So one thing worth mentioning for those of you that aren't that familiar with this, we do, just because we've lost NFTs or they've been stuck, I'll say, for an extended period of time into Holoplex, that we have, or Metaplex, I'm sorry, we have created placeholders for these. So when you win it, you purchase the placeholder, it gets sent to your wallet. We'll then send you the actual NFT. So once you claim it, then we'll send you the real NFT for it. So I just want people to know that. You can double check if you want to make sure we have the NFT. Our FoxyDAO wallet, you can check it out in our den section. You just go to our FoxyDAO and you scroll through there. You'll see the same exact NFTs that are in there. But yeah, so I'm curious to see where these lands tomorrow. I'm genuinely curious. I think I think we had a bit of a win based off the timing that we had purchased. At least our OK Bear. I think the rest of them are fairly steady from where the prices were that we purchased them. But the OK Bear has doubled in price since we bought it, actually. So a pretty sizable win, for the community over the past week, because OK Bears have just been absolutely nuts with regard to just their pricing. So yeah, I think the total on this now is somewhere to the tune of 100 and no, it should be over 200. I think it's just over 200, probably 200, 210 Solana worth of NFTs in our auction. So super stoked about it. I think that's our largest auction so far, and primarily due to the appreciation of the OK Bear, which is pretty awesome. So I'm interested in seeing who wins them. Um, so Dev also decided he wanted to throw in a joke for talking more so on the side of adding more benefits to our holders, and he's already executed a few of them, and we're definitely interested too if folks have suggestions on like current tools or just different things that we can look into as far as creating a benefit for holders. We are in talks with I'll say just different entities. I don't want to really give out like alpha if things kind of don't pan out, but of just different ways we can connect in and get more of a benefit for either Foxy or our holders, primarily our holders, just because we want to kind of give like a bit more value, to the actual NFT owners of Foxes. I mean, outside of what we've already created, I think it's just trying to bring us into the next level. And the very first thing I believe that the thought that Dev had pushed out was putting the ability for staked Fox owners to put buy orders in on the token market. So it might not sound like that huge of a benefit, but it adds a different level of liquidity into the market where there's just the way the structure is or was beforehand. You just had whatever the selling pressure was for wherever the price was going to go, and there was never buying pressure there. The buying pressure was manual based off of that current point in time. But now, from a general standpoint, is folks can put a buy order in for whatever token at whatever price if you're a Fox holder, and if there's a sizable gap in the market, people that are coming in and they want to sell those tokens, they'll see the buy orders there and they can either sell it instantly or list it higher in hopes that it gets sold at a different price. So I think it does add a pretty solid benefit to those that are already really dealing in the whitelist token meta or token meta really within our token market. So I'm curious, just maybe get some feedback on that from folks, especially for folks that use it more often. I know it might not sound like a huge benefit, but having the 0% fees on top of it, I think it just adds a lot more value for folks that are interested in it. And one of the bigger challenges too with what we've created, or what really any project tries to create from a value standpoint, is a lot of people want to do a rev share model or something along those lines, and from a legality side of things, it's borderline impossible to do, or at least in a way that makes like the hype factor with like expected returns basically. And so with something like this, it's more active, but it's more tangible at the same time, because if you're able to do it and you're getting taxed on it at a 0% rate, it's skill based, and it's a way for you to basically kind of create your own value, um, without being hampered by fees and all that fun stuff. So I don't know, it's probably me ranting a bit, but I think it's a pretty solid benefit as a starter. We're going to be having a bunch of other ways that we can kind of integrate benefits for current holders, for Foxes. So just kind of stay tuned for more and more of that. We are also launching our free utility week, which is going to start tomorrow, for an entire week. So really, it's a way for us to kind of gauge, a bit more interest and try to market a bit more to folks that have never used our tools before, that see kind of the need for Foxy to kind of see how much that kind of gates, our individual tools. Um, it's really one extra step, and we've been adding in, the exclamation point by Foxy command within our Discord, um, just to kind of let people know that you can buy it. It's either from the community run liquidity pool as like Jupe Ag, this is like Jupe.ag, or if you go into Dex Labs under the Foxy USDC pair, I believe, or it's Foxy Soul pair. Um, so, there's just different ways in which you can purchase Foxy. We just kind of wanted to get them out there. That way people are aware of it, to try and minimize that, gating, if you will, from our token. And, I think it's been working pretty well. I think, we've gotten good feedback, I'll say, on the down low from folks who, use our tools and kind of get their input as far as how easy it is to get Foxy, how much Foxy, they might buy in one shot. And, if they're just buying enough for what they need for the tools, they buy a little extra so that way they, can use them when they want to. So it's always just good information for us to get in general, but I'm really curious to see the increase in usage for our tools over a week in which they are free. So they'll be legitimately free. Everything that we charge Foxy for will have no Foxy cost to it. It's simply going to be whatever the Solana gas fee is. So sending, listing, bulk changing, Foxy sweep. It's only going to cost you whatever the NFTs cost plus gas. Minting NFTs, everything that we charge Foxy for will be free. So definitely looking forward to kind of seeing how that changes things up. And I'm currently working on drafting up like the proposal language for kind of what we want to do going forward from a community standpoint. So that way we can get your input from the Foxes for a DAO vote. It's going to be several DAO votes because there's more than one piece to kind of this solution going forward from a tool repricing structure. So I would want to really say all of that to also encourage folks to go into our utility repricing channel, which is the 4th from the bottom in our DAO section, to provide insight, from your angle for everything that's been stated in there. And there is pins if you want to just kind of get I'll say a TLDR. It really doesn't do everything justice that's in there, but it does paint a decent picture for the pins that are included in that channel. But if you've got, I don't even know how long it took me to go through it. I'll say less than an hour. Some coffee or a nice drink or something. Just pop in that channel, kind of start from the top and work your way down. There's a lot of good information in there, and I think it's, from a project standpoint, I think a lot of people make a lot of really good points. I think, part of our big issue is just making sure that like everything is as easy to use as possible in the space. It's just going to kind of blow us up for more of a mass adoption point from our tools. And, from my view, and again, this will be part of like the proposal that we draft up, whatever fees we take in from a SOL standpoint for our tools that are not for Foxes, if we go into a model that's like that, so if it's free for Foxes, but there's a small SOL fee for all the rest of our tools, I don't see why we couldn't just, make 100% of that available for, the next raffle or auctions or however we want to allocate it, or 50% between the two. To basically just kind of keep increasing the pots for what we're really giving back to Foxes. Because I think that ultimately could be one of the best ways, in NFTs to be able to give back to the community. I know there are other tokens that exist in the ecosystem that go for, $1, $10, whatever. Just they have to just kind of keep up with the demand to make sure there's always a demand there for their tokens. For us, it's no different. And based off the generation that we have and such, it's just trying to make sure we have that fine balance, but also making sure that Foxes are being taken care of from a value standpoint, both transdimensional and our famous Foxes. So look out for that. We'll certainly be pushing, a fairly decent marketing campaign around free tools. I'll say tell as many people as you'd like, especially for Foxy Swap. That's going to be probably one of the bigger tools that I think will be utilized over the next week. And I should mention, because it's not necessarily like alpha that's unknown, but we're working on getting our storefront finalized in OK Bears. So for anyone that is in the OK Bears community, you'll see that kind of pop up. I think right now they have one for Magic Eden and Yaw. So we just wanted to also get a spot at the table there. It's going to be, I don't know if they're going to separate us out as two different things or if they're going to have us run both of them in the same channel. It's going to be for our token market and for our Foxy Swap primarily. I gave them all our utilities. I gave them all of our pricing. I told them, for next week, it's going to be free. That way folks can basically, utilize whatever they'd like, but they seem to be most interested in the token market and the Foxy Swap. And I did showcase to them our sales bot update that we did last week. That also shows the swaps in there as well. So I think that just kind of gave them, good information with regard to, the fact that people in their community are using this, and they're using it at a pretty decent rate, which I think is good because, there's going to be OTC trades that people want to do in the space, and this is just a way of doing it safely, that doesn't really kind of like gouge anyone, in the trade. It's costs Foxy to do, and Solana gas. So it's just really saving us time as being, say trusted middlemen, and potentially having to charge, for us actually being there in person, but providing a value of service, to the rest of the ecosystem. So keep an eye out for that. Let's see. You mentioned buy orders already. Replacing den rooms. So I thought we had this in place for a while, but I don't know if maybe something had changed. But you are able to replace den rooms. This will burn the original room that's in the den. So when you are in that construction page and you do swap them out, just make sure you understand you won't get the original one back. That's important, just because if people think they're going to pop out like an orange origin room or something that's more on the rare side, it won't pop out. It will get burnt. So just keep that in mind. And we also added in the ability for no lifers to ping raid foxes. So we did that just to kind of encourage a bit more of the engagement side. I think a lot of the no lifer foxes that we have within the community, super helpful, and very well in touch with the rest of the space. So we just wanted to make sure that they had a little bit more flexibility with regard to being able to kind of, I'll say, muster the troops with regard to a bit more deeper social engagement. It could be different tweets they find online that seem like more foxes should hit. Really anything along those lines that pop up. It just gets us a bit more eyes in the rest of like crypto Twitter, and just for us to be able to leverage our community a bit better. So just wanted to shout that out for all of our no lifers, and I certainly appreciate the folks that are part of that category, as you guys have been around for quite some time and are certainly extremely active in the community, which is very very helpful. Let's see, you mentioned missions, mentioned auctions. We got the Rad Rugs den, so we pushed out the exterior for it on Wednesday. We will push out the interior for it tomorrow, and we'll also send them over their den. They've been extremely patient. It actually it actually has been completed for a little while, but since Dev was traveling over the past 2 weeks, it just kind of took it was put on the back burner a little bit. And we didn't want them to feel slated. We want to kind of give them the same level of attention that we've given for every other den that we've created. So it just took us a little bit of time to get it out to the community. But huge fans of it. It'll be gifted to their DAO, so that way they can kind of do all the Fox things with it, if you will. You can drop them dings directly to it. If you pop into it from the directory, you can check out their wallet. The wallet address shows up. So if you want to just copy that, throw it in the SoulScan, check it out. You can see all their NFTs that are in there. From the Solana side, if they want to link an ETH wallet to it. I don't know if Radrugs has any ETH NFTs, but if they did, they'll show up in there. And then, of course, any dings that folks do send to them will show up at the bottom for it. Those are kind of the primary functions that we really have for dens currently. There'll also be an interior room that you can purchase, and I believe we'll gift them 2 of the interior rooms for the Rad Rug. So for anyone that's interested, we'll mention to them that they can kind of do a giveaway. I don't know if they're going to do it via Twitter, if they're going to do it in their Discord, whatever is probably like the best structure for them. I'll kind of leave it to them to handle, but keep an eye out for the interior rooms for that as well. And then the second, not so huge, but an update for Fox only is being able to add in your own image for a ding. So you don't have to use our kind of like standard background if you don't want to. You could certainly leave it there if you want to. But basically, it's almost similar to allowing you to kind of mint your own NFT. It just doesn't have the attributes and all that fun stuff, and also you can put text on top. So it's the image that Dev used in there is pretty funny, but it's just another way, just a different angle that folks can use if you want to create your own ding template, and run that. It just gives a lot more freedom really for the way that people want to kind of use our ding utility to communicate with. And the last thing that we threw out there really was that the art that Nayunaman had created for us. So huge shout out for that. It's got Foxy Dev and Frank in there fighting, and I'm not sure what the other NFTs are that are in there. I know that she had mentioned that it's another Easter egg, but I just know the sword that Dev is using is from a Bit Brawl, one of one that was given out. So if anyone knows what the name is of the creatures they're fighting, feel free to throw that out there, as I am not that familiar with it. But those were our main updates that we had kind of done over the past week. I mean, it's good to have Dev back, jumping back into the swing of things. We're deep in it, getting through a lot of the May items that we're working on. 3D foxes are coming along pretty good. I want to say once we get some more like textures and such to them, that we'll most likely send out some like teasers for them. That's a fairly large effort right now, just because I think part of it is the fact that Portals is not like fully fleshed out in their current environment, so it just makes it a little more challenging. I think when that happens, I think there's going to be a lot more projects and such that are going to create easier ways to generate those 3D models and to make them kind of rigged and ready to go within those metaverses. But until then, it's only a select few that are interested in creating these models. And I think it'll be a pretty solid benefit where you'll be able to use your own Fox within Portals at least, and then any other metaverse that we're able to kind of import our same files. And we'll most likely have a couple of ways to generate foxes, so that way, depending on however the metaverse is ran, that you'll be able to use your model in one way or another. Let me just jump in here. I'm trying to think of other updates worth mentioning for foxes. I think that's pretty much it for the most part. For right now, that's worthwhile. But feel free to ask questions too, or if anybody wants to come up, you can ping me in chat if you want. I think some people were mentioning, we got Silver up here. Let's bring Silver up. How's it going, Silver?
What up, Drax? It's been a minute. How you been?
I've been good. Just being extra busy on top of all the things, but fortunately that'll lighten up in a couple of weeks here.
So I hope you can do Foxes full time. I heard that somewhere in the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that plan's coming along smoothly. But my question was, the merch. I know you guys posted about it like a few weeks back. Any more thought onto that, or any update on there?
Yep, appreciate it. That completely slipped me. And yeah, I should give merch updates probably like every week. So as it stands right now, I'm still waiting to get back like a couple of designs, primarily for like our flagship hoodie, which I think is the number one thing that people are waiting for from missions. So I certainly appreciate everyone that is waiting on those. But yeah, we've gotten, and this is probably more so like on me / the creative team. We've gotten, I want to say, upwards of like 10 to 15 designs in total, all over the place, but like nothing really feels like a good like flagship hoodie. I think the shirts and such we've gotten, I think, pretty solid. The ones that were created already. So for me, like I'd want like my main goal is to at least launch when we have a hoodie, shirt, some form of mug or mugs, because I think we have a bunch of options there. And I know people were asking for mouse pads. We might set up something for that. Um, and what the heck's the fourth thing that I was thinking about? But primarily around the hoodies and shirts. I think that's what most people are interested in, and hoodies being kind of the bigger thing for me. My goal, in all honesty, I was hoping to have like our designs finalized this week. The good thing is that we have like a few different vendor options to use. So I know biscuits is our like primary go-to. We want to make sure from like a volume standpoint that'll be able to kind of keep up with the orders as they kind of come through, and also we have to make sure we have a good mechanism from a logistics side for how those are handled. And then as a like first backup, I actually have gotten samples, which I think I might have shared in alpha one day, around canvas bags that I'll be using as like swag for NFT NYC. And so I'm putting in a bulk order for them, uh, should be this weekend, to get those for NFT NYC, but also they can do all kinds of merch on top of it. They do like custom things as well, and they can handle like the volume. So once I just get our like last design, then it's no holds barred, and then we'll just kind of grow our designs from there. So we'll have like an initial collection, which will kind of be like our flagship, and then we'll kind of add in just a bunch of tertiary designs and such as like different artists that we kind of bring on, or if there's just different items that we want to kind of create, because we've got a lot of ideas that make sense that I think people would buy into. And every day that I go out and if I'm at a mall or something, I'm just like looking at designs to figure out like how we can make something like that for Foxes, because there's a lot of really cool shit out there, and I think for us to build them in Foxes, I think would be awesome. So my hope is the end of this coming week for us to have like a site that's ready to go for merch for people to be able to buy. And absolute worst case scenario, if it bleeds past the 20th, like my full-time job is going to be merch until the merch is out. So absolute worst case scenario, it'll be done by the end of this month for us to have merch out and ready to go, but I'm hoping this week. So I appreciate the question.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering. So, have we chosen like a flagship logo for us? Is it the Twitter profile pic?
Yeah, no.
Or
So as far as the actual logo itself, so we have technically there's two different like logos. It's actually close to, if you go onto our website, the logo itself would be like kind of the fox head that's on there, but the challenge from like the merch angle is like getting it embroidered. The mouth is challenging, so we actually had switched the like the wide mouth, I'm not sure that technical name we use for it in the attributes, to just the smirk or the smile one. So that's kind of like our like flagship logo, and it does have a white border to it as well that's like thicker than what the rest of the design is. um and we're still debating from like the color angle, because it's a three color logo, which is actually pretty legit, but going down to a two color logo, which would be even better. So there's just some other designs that we might have to do, but those three primary colors for our brand, being the white, the orange, and then that like purple color, if you will, are kind of like our primary brand colors on top of a few other items that we've used to throughout building like the website.
yeah, I mean, I think that's a sick idea. Either way, like it's the same picture. So it's that logo on the website is the same for the Twitter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
yeah.
thought, I don't know why. I thought on the Twitter side it was, let me just double check. I thought it was an actual fox, but I could be wrong. Actually, I think you're right. I think the fox is on the sales bot. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Yes, that's like the flagship logo. It does have, so I might even update that. I might even update our Twitter after a VC. But yeah, I'll throw in the logo that we have in there. Like I said, there's two technical ones, but the one just has an easier mouth with one less color, which makes it easier for embroidery. And I should mention too, on these heads for the logo, it does have that shading angle on the left hand side. That'll be removed when it comes down to merch, just because that actually technically adds two more colors, both on the orange and on the white. That just makes it challenging, so we just remove those for like the actual official like merch piece.
Yeah, no, because I have a Fox shirt I rocked. I was in vacation in Mexico, like in Cancun, last week, and I was getting noticed in my Fox shirt. People knew what the Foxes were. I was pleasantly surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck off! That's awesome.
Dude, it was dope. It was really dope.
That's wild. That hasn't happened to me yet. I've been rocking. So I got it's I think I might have sent it in alpha too, but I got a shirt done that has the lore banner for Centurions, not the raid that we're planning on doing, but the actual mission one that has like my Fox. So I had poetically, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, cut that out of the image and then added a giant orange circle behind him, and then I just put on it, famous Fox Federation via the text at the bottom. And I've been rocking that every once in a while. I'll be rocking it NFT NYC, and I'll have a couple of other like pieces that I get made, especially for the foxes that had sent me their foxes beforehand. But yeah, I haven't gotten noticed yet. I do have a hoodie too that has like the general just like embroidered on like the shoulder. I got that done like way early just to kind of like have something to rock, but it doesn't have anything else like FFF or anything else embroidered on it. And I get noticed at work. People are like, "Oh, what's that?" Because like it's obviously different, and I can only like really tell them so much before like literally melting their faces off. But yeah, I haven't had anyone recognize me in public yet. Not that I live in like a city area or anything where I'd expect it, but my wife constantly is like, "Are you waiting for someone to notice you, or like what's gonna happen when the first person says something?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like I'll probably end up talking to them for like an hour, in the middle of a mall or wherever we're at, just to shoot the shit." But that's pretty cool. You'll have to send me what you got created because I'm
So
kind of curious.
it was one of the other Foxes that was doing it. It was Solana J when he was making all the
Okay.
shirts for everybody,
Yeah.
right? So it was my PFP, and then I was in Tulum, in downtown Tulum, and I was just like walking around the bars and drinking and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, famous Fox, you have one?" I was like, "Yeah, this is the one I have," and we just kept drinking. It was great.
That's crazy. Was it like one person or like I mean
Yeah, it was like one person, but then his group of friends also knew what they were. So
okay.
it was like I was like, "Oh, foxes are big in Mexico."
Dude, that's awesome. No, that's great to hear. And yeah, I think that that's another really cool thing. So the one I really want to work a little bit deeper with the one vendor that we're also talking to, that can help us from like the bulk side. They have it's fairly straightforward. I'll call it like pretty basic merch creator where you can basically like connect your wallet in and for your specific NFT like get a specific piece of merch created, but it's very basic and not very customizable. Like I figure for our collection, what would be really cool is if they could match the like color of your fox background to the color of the actual product. So like your shirt would be green for you or orange for me, and then have like your PFP on it, and then some like level of like stats or whatever associated to it. There's a barcode at the bottom or some way of like branding it, maybe like a level further, that I think could be pretty cool. But like right now, as it stands, like it's like a black shirt where it just has like your PFP on it, and then it's got like a bar that has information, but it's like black, it's like green on black, and it just kind of reminded me of like computers from like the 80s.
So it'd be kind of dope. So you know how like NBA jerseys they have like the Nike box in the lower, like, was it lower left or lower right hand corner in the front?
Yeah.
we do like a QR code. So if you look up the QR code, it populates the fox's profile, and you can see all the stats, like the level it's on and everything that
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Something like that. I just thought that'd be kind of cool. So it's like,
yeah, it goes right to their profile page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Especially because like that's tied to that specific fox, so it's like that's the effort that you're doing, and it's
Exactly.
gonna change as it goes on. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I should have mentioned too that they do have something like that where there's like a QR code that you can add in with stats like that. Well, you could add whatever QR code you want to it.
Oh yeah, so you just add the QR code, and then the QR code is tied to that link.
Yep.
Right. So then it just goes straight to that profile for that fox. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be awesome. Cool. I got Liberty requesting. Let me bring Liberty up here. Hey, Liberty, how's it going?
Good, man. I just want to jump up. I heard you talking about. Of course, my wife called right then.
I was gonna say, I think you got rugs
match
on there.
Some blanks to the colorways. If you're interested and you want to, and you can get me a list of like the hex codes for the backgrounds for all the foxes. I've been in merch my whole life, so I can try to source some of those blanks for the vendor.
Okay, that's helpful. Yeah,
When you said it, I was like, oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, that sounds good. I just shot you a follow. Let me just send you a DM. Okay, there you go.
Did right on. Yeah, we'll continue the conversation, but I just wanted to offer that up. I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. Not a holder, but a big fan of the entire operation over there. So any way I can help, I shall.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for that. And yeah, we'll definitely chat more after this. I can get you the hex codes, not a problem. And yeah, I'm interested. Like, that's the part like I'm not super familiar with. Like how challenging it'll be. Like, obviously green and orange, like that's easy to do, and so is pink and purple. But like I think some of the ones that we have, might just be a little bit different that we'd have to, find very specific vendors to get them created and whatnot.
They're all out there. You just have to go search for them, right?
Yeah, that's true. No, I appreciate that, Liberty. Yeah, we'll definitely chat some more after, for sure.
Cool, thank you.
Of course. Yeah, now that I popped over to Twitter, let's see here. Something just sold out, but I don't know what for. Let's see. I don't think I'm not seeing any questions up top. Let me jump in the Fox chat. Pug, you're fucking hilarious. Maybe we will have some kind of dope wristbands, but we have to do a really fancy announcement for it and like post it like it's part of our roadmap, and it's gonna take like 6 to 8 weeks. Was it 6 to 8 to 12? I don't remember how long they put on there, but like that was funny. Absolutely hilarious. Yeah, I mean that's what I got for right now. Like as things progress, we'll certainly keep you guys updated. With all the efforts we have going on with our roadmap 2.0. I think our first raid mission, I think will be pretty exciting once we get that going. We just have a lot of things in the work. Boombox is getting close to being done. That's no small effort getting that launched and started. We're definitely interested in kind of seeing how that goes and how we can kind of grow it from there once it is out. I'm getting another request. Let me bring up, I'll call you Jira. Hopefully I'm not getting rugged.
No, you're fine. I can still hear you.
Yeah, I was going to say they've been connecting for quite some time. Are you able to talk, Jira? Maybe not.
For me, it still looks like listener. So.
Yeah, let me see. I'm going to remove him from speaker real quick and just see if I can add him back up. Or maybe he requested and then left. It's really strange. Oh, there you are. There you are.
I think it was me. It was probably me. Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I thought it was my end. So fortunately, I've got Silver up here to tell me it's not.
Oh, no. Awesome. I just had a quick question. Sure. I love the famous foxes, but I don't have any yet. And a couple friends have always come to me and like who are new to the space, especially from Ethereum, and they're like, "What are some solid plays?" And I've directed them towards a couple projects, and one of them was the famous fox. The trans-dimensional ones too. And I have friends who bought in because they took. But I told them, obviously, do your own research and everything. But I was like, no, those are solid ones, honestly. And I've got a couple friends who own them now. So I guess I never knew what to tell them, and I kind of want to know myself. Like, as far as if I'm still trying to buy my first Fox, should I just go to the easy buy-in with the transdimensional, or if I have, the soul, just grab the Gen 1 first?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, honestly, it comes down to, I'll say, like, your profile. I would say from like a good general practice, like, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Obviously, I'm biased, towards our project. When it comes down to like the actual benefits, I believe, I don't know if we've updated it yet, but there's going to be an update for our versus chart. So if you go into our community under regular Fox chat, there is a command. I think it's just !versus VS. That just shows you some of like the general differences between famous foxes and transdimensional foxes. Primarily, you get 4 times the amount of Foxy. You get 100% of the experience or fame from missions. You can put foxes on missions; both of them count for that. And then when it comes down to like the additional benefits and such that like we'll end up creating for our foxes themselves, like will always like the primary focus will always be on famous foxes, but transdimensional foxes will not be like far behind, right? They can still be used in missions. They can still be used for all the utilities and such that we have. They generate a quarter of the amount of Foxy, but they're still able to use all those tools. They just can basically do it like a fourth of the time, based off of the generation. Thanks, Silver, for throwing that in there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point too. Silver did the ! docs as well. So that brings you to our GitHub, which is also under our official links. I would definitely suggest if anyone here is part of the Foxes and you haven't had a chance to jump into our Git book that we have, check it out. It's pretty awesome. It's got, everything in there. If you're looking for a resource to share with people like about our project, that's kind of like a one-stop shop, that's it. And it's very well organized and structured, and we try to keep it as up to date as possible. It's a very good resource that I would definitely suggest sending out to people. That's what my like number one thing is when folks ask about foxes. I'll send them out like the Git book, and even just send them like different pages from it. And if they have any questions, they can always like ask too. But yeah, I mean, if you're able to afford a famous fox, you get our alpha side, you get our whitelist, you opportunities that exist in there. If you get to the no lifer status, you get a lot more opportunities as far as the whitelist is concerned. We've done really well this week. I mean, I think yesterday was what was yesterday? No, it was earlier today. Was the mouse into house? Like, people did quite well with that. From like a mint side and jumping in and just being in our alpha chat like has a solid value to it, which from a famous fox you'll be able to get into, but from a transdimensional fox you won't. So, I mean, I'm biased. I would say, buy 10 foxes if you can, 10 famous foxes if you can. But yeah, having one, and I think our alpha channel is like invaluable. So I'd highly suggest, if you're able to afford it and if it's within your profile, to get a famous fox, and check it out for yourself. Hang around for a week. If it doesn't seem like it's a good fit for you, I mean, most likely you'll be able to sell it for profit. But I think you'll join, and you'll probably remove other discords that you're a part of, because our Discord's pretty amazing. Our community in there is pretty fire. So
not only Mouse, I mean, earlier this week, I think we had 50 spots for Community 3.
Yep, we had
those
50 spots for Community 3.
Yeah, and those are sitting what? They got up to like
30,
54 and they're
32, 34, something like that.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah, huge shout out to Waitlist Seekers. Waitlist Seekers have been on their shit. We've got 3 people in there: Harambe, Alkine, and Munz. They do a fantastic job. They help out with a few other things on top of the whitelist side, but they're doing a very good job at getting us slots and negotiating for us and kind of using me as leverage when we need to. But yeah, getting those different opportunities, huge. OK Bears was big for us too, from the alpha side. So, and then that's, obviously that's still kind of going from a benefit standpoint. But yeah, there's countless opportunities, to be able to take advantage of being a famous fox, and being active in the community. It certainly will help out with that too. So
thank you, appreciate that.
Of course,
I'll check out that the Git book on that too, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, definitely suggest it. It's not a long read. It's not complicated. It's very well organized. And like I said, if there's any questions in there, if there's any comments, suggestions, and things we should clean up, definitely reach out and let us know.
No problem. Sounds good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate you as well. Let's see. Any other questions in here? No other questions in here. Let me jump in chat. All right, I'm getting pinged somewhere. Okay, nope, just waitlists and foxes. Yeah, I think we're good. We're coming up on the hour, so pretty solid amount of time. I certainly appreciate everyone coming, stopping by. Let me just see here. All right, cool. Yeah, I think we're good. I'll give everyone back, a few minutes, in your Saturday nights, and quick shout out for any mothers that listen to this or are part of the space, especially my wife. Mother's Day is tomorrow. For anyone hopefully that hasn't forgotten, hopefully you guys have a good Mother's Day. Here, the weather's gonna suck, but we're still gonna try and take advantage of the day, and hopefully you guys have some fun tomorrow. But yeah, appreciate you guys all coming and stopping by and hanging out for a little bit. I know there was an OK Bears space going on. Actually, it's still going on. That's fairly well attended. So I'm not sure if others are going to go jump in there and check that out. But hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day, great weekends, and look out for our announcements tomorrow. And we look forward to keeping on building. So you guys have a good weekend.